The best thing about Warhammer 40k Darktide is its intense combat, and each class is going to interact with that combat differently. But which class is the best class? What's going to get you the best results? Well, the answer to that really depends on the role you're most comfortable playing. I'm Jeficus, and today we're going to answer the question, which class in Darktide is the best for you? I've matched each of the 4 classes in the game with common playstyles found in RPGs, MOBAs, and other FPS action games to make choosing a class as easy as possible for you. So without further ado, let's get into it. The first class I want to talk about is the Ogryn, a big brute who sacrifices agility for strength. If you're the kind of player who enjoys warriors, fighters, tanks, or bruisers in other games, then this is going to be the class for you. The Ogryn uses a variety of massive melee weapons that specialize in cleaving through the maximum number of enemies possible. For example, I like using the Slab Shield because of its ability to block range attacks as well as some of the hardest hitting attacks in the game, and absolutely manhandle hordes of enemies and groups of elites. The class's range weapons are as primitive as an orc's, but they get the job done. My favorite is the Rumbler because it launches explosives that do massive damage to bigger targets, and it keeps hordes of enemies crowd controlled for the team. To help round out your kit, the Ogryn's blitz abilities include some big explosions and a rock. Do not underestimate the rock. It's actually really good. The Ogryn is the only class in the game that's strong enough to push over and stagger every enemy in the game with the exception of bosses, but the trade-off is that it plays much slower than all of the other classes. If you're the kind of player who doesn't mind sacrificing mobility for power and crowd control, you'll feel right at home playing the Ogryn. But perhaps you fall on the opposite side of the spectrum and you prefer to meddle with magical arcane abilities rather than fight with conventional methods. For all of you mages, wizards, and spellcasters out there, look no further than the Psyker, an abhuman who is able to channel the mysterious powers of the warp. The Psykers channel the warp through a variety of different staves and abilities, but your power is limited as the more you channel the warp, the more you build up perils of the warp, which will cause you to explode if you channel too much of the warp too quickly. Like the other classes, Psykers are capable of using a variety of different melee weapons and guns, but their Force Swords and Staves are unique because they allow you to channel the warp, giving you access to some pretty awesome space magic. My go-to staff is the Inferno Staff because it allows you to absolutely melt everything on your screen and gives you access to a lot of crowd control. The Psyker also offers the team phenomenal utility with some of its passives, such as Psychonetics Aura, which allows your team to recover their ability cooldowns much faster. If you're the kind of player who likes casting spells, being a bit of a glass cannon, and managing your resources, then you'll excel at this class. With all that being said, maybe you're the kind of player who just wants to pick up a gun and shoot things. If you enjoy FPS games, or you often find yourself playing as a hunter, ranger, or marksman in RPGs, then you'll enjoy the Veteran. The Veteran has access to the most ranged weapons in the game, which is appropriate because they specialize in using them. On this class, some of the more iconic 40k weapons like the Plasma Gun and the Bolt Gun absolutely destroy everything, but I'm a huge fan of the Recon Lasgun because it makes me feel like I'm playing an actual shooter. Like in any other FPS, ammunition and grenades are extremely important for the Veteran, and they're the only class in the game that can passively recover both over time. This provides huge sustainment benefits for your team because it increases ammo and grenade availability for everyone. If you excel at FPS games or you're looking for a ranged playstyle where success is earned through aim and accuracy, this is going to be a good class for you. But some of you don't care too much about guns and would rather shine in fast-paced melee combat. If you enjoy action games or generally play as a rogue, assassin, monk, or paladin in RPGs, then you're really going to like the Zealot. The Zealot is the antithesis of the Veteran in that it's all about melee combat and has access to the most melee weapons in the game rather than ranged ones. That's not to say that its ranged weapons are useless. I enjoy being able to use a flamer to melt hordes of enemies, but the class is built to be a quick frontliner who specializes in closing the gap by charging in head first or with stealth. Of the many weapons that the Zealot has access to, my current favorite is the Combat Knife because of how fast it makes you. If you're looking to master melee combat in the game, and you want to be rewarded for perfect spacing, reaction speed, and aggressive gameplay, then look no further than the Zealot. And last but not least, if I didn't describe a playstyle that you actively look for in these kinds of games, don't worry, the talent system has got you covered. Each class has access to a myriad of different builds that combine Darktide's talents, weapons, and abilities to refine playstyles that are gonna work for you. For example, if you typically play as a paladin or melee support type character, then the Zealot has you covered with its Chorus of Spiritual Fortitude ability. Likewise, the Psyker acts as a great ranged support with its Telekine shield. The only thing you can't currently do in this game is run a minion or pet build, so if you're the kind of person who likes to have skeletons, turrets, or totems do all the damage for you, I'm sorry, but it's just not in the game yet. Which is why we need to petition the developers for a Tech Priest or a Skitarii class. You need to pray to the Omnissiah and share this video with as many people as possible so that Fanshark knows that we want to play as cogheads. Anyways, this was really fun to make, and I hope you guys enjoyed it. As always, this has been Jeficus, and I'll see you in-game.